All right. So we are in the studying the patriarchs, encountering the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob at Bethmore on page 202. So if someone could read, Pastor Hank, if you're there, at the top.
If you're like me, the opening scene of family conflict made me squirm. Having personally played the role of peacemaker in many family conflicts during my childhood, the mere thought of cutting words and dirty jokes can still make my stomach ache. I can almost smell Jacob's disapproval and sense his son's virtual morality. The more someone belittles us, the less we seem able to do. The negative association of the sons Jacob had with Egypt surely added to their morality. Don't forget, the Ishmaelites who purchased Joseph 20 years earlier were on their way to that land. Let's put it this way. The sons of Jacob had skeletons in Egypt's closet, and the last thing they wanted to do was to open that door. Of course, the threat of starvation could motivate a house full of men to do what they rather not. After all, having 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 all grin at the adage that the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. A little math based on verse 3 tells that somewhere on Judah moved back home. You'll recall Mr. Carter in Genesis 38. All 12 of Jacob's sons are accounted for in our present chapter. 10 sons traveled with people, one staying home, and one in the right hand of Pharaoh. By the way, what did you think about Jacob keeping Benjamin at home? The patriarch's youngest son, well into adulthood by this time. Yet, you see Jacob and Benjamin repeating the same pattern he originally cut from Joseph. Jacob favored the remaining sons of his favorite wife, Rachel. Before we judge too harshly, we have the same kind of tendency, don't we? If we don't rise up to it and ask God to help us change, we can transfer an unhealthy pattern to one relationship to another.
Oh wow. A lot being said, right? So that let's just look at this. So Benjamin was not really the position Benjamin has right now was not the position he had prior to Joseph's death, right? Because Benjamin was a baby. Jacob did not have that type of connection at that point. But his pride and joy was Joseph. But she points out this unhealthy behavior pattern, this unhealthy connection. So you can literally take the relationship that's unhealthy with one person and take it to somebody else. And once that door closes or something happens, take it to somebody else if you haven't addressed what the issue was, meaning that it's something with you. And so what we looked at, and we've seen is that Jacob favored Rachel.
Yes.
He wasn't hiding it. Yeah, well, that was what came after the fact. And so if Jacob had said, well, you know what, once he married Leah and had the children with the rest of them, to say, you know, I made this commitment, whether I was tricked into it or not, let me just play my part. He's like, no, that's not what I wanted. I was tricked into this.
There you go.
And everybody gonna know that this is the one I wanted. Did he act like he wanted it? He didn't. I mean, imagine the feeling from his sons most of their days to know that Daddy really didn't want our mom. And really, we were just an option. Huh? No. And so going through, and I saw this video that was appalling, that people were just passing around. I don't know if it's true or not, because people pass things around for likes anyhow. Why? Because when things are monetized and get paid for it, the more outrageous the lies, they don't care if it's true or not. They get paid. But this guy was saying that he has seven baby mamas, 7 children with 7 baby mamas, and he told them that he didn't want any children. Okay. You guys couldn't see that video?
I never missed out.
Oh,
Okay, all right.
Yeah, but he didn't want any of the children, and he offered with all of the women that he ever gotten pregnant. He offered to pay for the abortion or the Plan B for all of that, and he said all of them took it except the 7. Right? I'm like, yes, except those 7. I'm like, what? What? Oh, so many questions. So many questions. But yeah. Yeah. But ultimately he was like, I did not want you. That's not Jacob's situation, thankfully. But imagine there are people out there who will, and this one guy, whether it's real or not, I would hope it's not true. But the way he was saying it, he said it as if it was true. That he did not want these children. And so when you go and you see, and we don't know what happened before, but we know for sure it was clear who he wanted. Even if the Bible didn't say he did not really want her, it was clear Rachel was the one. And it was clear, talk about needing to sit on somebody's couch. And if they were here today, those 10 sons, to see that, no, it was clear that Joseph was the favorite. And you were like, well, why did they treat him like that? Because they knew there was something unhealthy. And when you have unhealthy family dynamics, nobody has to tell you it's unhealthy. You grow up knowing the unhealthy pathogens that goes on within family. You learn it, and then it gets duplicated. And thank God for Jesus that it can be cut and it doesn't have to be replicated. The patterns that happen don't have to be replicated, and that's why I thank God that we can be born again, and we are born again, and that He gives us this renewed mind, that we don't have to continue to do the things that we used to in our carnal mind. And so that we can love and we can be kind and we can be patient and we can watch our words and watch our actions and watch what goes in our ears, what goes in our eyes. And so although we're studying the Old Testament, just understand that there's still some unhealthy practices. And this is not, and you hear people talking about and lifting up, oh, this is not always the example to follow. Jesus Christ is our ultimate example. And if anything, this shows how much we needed a savior. So anyway, here such a pattern had kept on happening, and it continued. Jacob left home, but came back home. He left, he started his own family. And imagine starting his own family, but being back where he knew he was not wanted, being home being back where it's like, ugh. So the pattern, the behavior was there, the tendencies were there, and Benjamin, the favorite one, was there. That dad would rather sacrifice all like we're about to starve. Daddy, you told us that are we gonna starve or go to Egypt to get food? We went to Egypt to get food. This man is gonna hold onto our brother and not unless we bring Benjamin back. And we're telling you this, and he's like, well, I think we oh.
I wonder why Judah moved back in this time rather than staying where he was.
Well, more than likely, I mean the unit. That's my assumption. So it wasn't an easy decision. And remember where we left off? Jacob walked away. He was hot. You want what? You want me to do what? Send my baby what? Benjamin was a grown man.
He's an old man and he didn't want to be alone, and all of them would be gone. So he didn't want to
But
say,
they were possibly all about to die.
unless India says, unless you get for the man, right?
Yeah.
Then you get out.
And so, because they were facing real famine. It wasn't a matter of, okay, have all this stuff and we'll make it. They were facing actual starvation. Yeah, girl. And it was going, girl. Have you ever wised up to repeat a pattern in your own relationships? Sorry, have you ever wised up to a repeated pattern in your own relationships? That's a big different question.
Yes.
Have you ever noticed that after a while that you see that, oh, I've been making a lot of the same decisions and there's a pattern here.
Right? You cut it off.
Yeah. Have you ever seen that? And I'm not it could be with friendships, it could be family, it could be just overall. Like I see a pattern.
Yes.
And maybe there needs to be a change.
It was. And
And so how has God helped you to break that pattern? You already answered that question. How did God help you to break that pattern?
Reminders.
Oh.
It didn't work in. And it ain't gonna work now. But now there's underlying emotions under that. It's like you want that. Yeah, I'm getting younger. So it's like I think I better yeah.
and you say, well, I know that trait, and I'm not going to let it go any further because you know what's going to come out of it. Because you have to know, you have to family members. You know each one. You know each one, and the Lord will let you know how to deal with each one. And when you know who they are, don't wait. You know that's married. He's going to jump the line over there, and that one is going to go instead. You know what they're going to do. And so you have to not to know their mind. Just show me what to do. And you move this one back there, this one over here, and you get to stay in the middle.
Yeah.
Because they will use you too. Mhm.
Yeah,
So you have to work on it. It's something you have to work on.
yeah,
Yes.
for sure. And I know for myself, when I see patterns, more often than not, and I've shared this at different points, but I set up boundaries not for them, but for myself.
For yourself. Protect yourself.
Yes, so that I know that I will go so far, but then I stop.
Right. And let
Because,
it be known.
yeah, and I can't control anybody else, but I know how far I will.
And the minute you put your foot down, that's it. Yeah.
So that's how I stop patterns because I tend to be giving and caring, but I know, okay, I will go this far and I will stop.
Yeah.
And that's how God has taught me to break those patterns.
Yeah.
Okay. Can someone else read?
Okay. Jacob is also Israel's family. Had no idea how dramatically the old patterns were about to be broken.
Mhm.
And they will surely wonder if the process will kill them before it kills them. Picture the scene as the brothers bow down before the viceroy of Egypt, who, unbeknownst to them, was their own flesh and blood. The Hebrew adds richness to verses 6 and 7. And Joseph saw his brethren and recognized them. But he made himself strange, that's a word here, unto them, and spoke roughly with them. And he said unto them, whence come you? Oh, to have been above on the royal hall when Joseph recognized his brothers. Don't you know his mind was stable? Joseph made immediate adjustments in his demeanor. Because I guess he felt his own, rising up in his demeanor in order to be unrecognizable. The translation made himself strange is a little amusing as we recall that they thought him strange before. The scene, however, is deadly serious. The intimidation of Joseph's harsh voice was magnified into sheer terror by the brothers' inability to understand it. Remember, verse 23 says Joseph spoke through an interpreter. A few seconds of delayed comprehension must have been torturous. If so, their troubled hearts must have leapt from their chests when Joseph uttered, "Your spies." The Hebrew terminology adds interesting insight in verse 9, possibly suggesting a play on words. Joseph accused his brothers of seeing where our land is unprotected, but a closer rendering of the Hebrew word for unprotected is naked. Okay. Ye are spies. to see the nakedness of the land, ye are come. To ancient people, thinkers like Joseph, to be stripped of your robe was to be left virtually naked. The sight of his brothers may have instantly unearthed the humiliating image of being stripped of his robe and thrown into the pit before it. As the present and the past weaved together in his thoughts, Joseph seemed to say the first thing that came to his mind, you have come to take the robe of Egypt and leave her defenseless. Pass on a message to them and they come to take off the robe of Egypt.
Yes.
But he's thinking of what they did to him. Yeah.
Very true.
He's thinking of what they did to him. Or they disrobe him and do what they have to do in the pit.
That's something I never made that connection.
Yeah.
That's
So you
so
want to do
good.
that now to Egypt too, you know?
That's so
Yeah.
good. It was like speaking in codes. That's good.
That doesn't even hurt his mind.
Uh-huh.
What they did to him, they disrobe him. So they're telling you what it means to unprotected here means naked.
Yeah.
They took his robe off and they threw him in a pit. So now you want to know if that's what they're compared to do.
Because it was just interesting. I was always wondering why they choose the word spy, because I'm like, that's left field. But
They called him a spy when he went to look for them out in the field with the sheep. So they got
to spy on
them.
them.
So I can't tell their father.
Oh, I'm so glad that's oh my goodness, that's a right on time.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So he is really throwing it back in their face.
Yeah.
And then what's interesting, because I'm just picturing if I was in the room with them at that moment, where did this powerful intimidation come from? Because up until this point, he really wasn't that type of person.
It's something to bring it in.
Yes,
Say to see them again.
yes, that's what I'm saying.
After what they had done to him.
You know what they don't be. You know how long you've been cooking?
It's steaming. Yes. So and it would bring the sometimes seeing the people who hurt you will bring something like, and it's like one of those things that, you know what, you have to remember, like you remember, I'm a man of God. I'm a man of God. Yeah. Yeah, he had to remember that. And up until this point, he did not go like that anger part and all of this thing, but they really seen them really set up. Surely you caught the irony of the brother's response to Joseph's accusation in verse 11. All right. So let's turn there. Genesis 42. Yes, you are, he insisted. You have come to discover how vulnerable the famine has made us. Were they the only ones who came to buy?
There were people from Africa all over the place.
There were people from all over the place. What in particular, I would ask, what made these set from Canaan different? I know he's a brother, but they stood out, you know? And I guess it's, I know why, like like this. We are all the sons of one man. If you think we're spies, we're not just coming up as a king. So more than likely, the people who came to buy may not have come all together like that.
But they
It's
came
like we're not a gang. We're just we're just all one man's children. We're not coming to jump you. We're brothers.
But they didn't know that. They didn't know who
No. But they were telling you they were.
Yeah.
Because if somebody comes to, 2 people come to buy, 3 people, but this was how many? This was 10 of them.
Yeah.
That's a big group.
That's right. Okay, I just five.
So 10 people, so he couldn't even miss them.
Oh,
That's large. What y'all coming here for? All of them. We are sons of one man. Your servants are blank. Are what? Honest. Not spies. Yes. That your servants are honest men, not spies. Ooh, why they said honest?
Them brothers ain't honest, right? Especially Reuben. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, shit.
Honest.
Oh,
Them
So,
brothers. They're
I-
not saying anything else, but.
Oh,
Lord. What they gonna say? Not even Reuben. Oh.
they could have just said your servants are faithful. They they trust.
Yeah.
There was some other words that they could have said beside honest. Honest was a stretch.
Big stretch.
That was a stretch. List several ways they proved themselves otherwise. Yeah.
someone is trying to get over to for you to believe them.
Yeah.
They tell you, I'm honest, and
Yeah,
yeah, I'm honest. Trust me.
I mean, they lied about they told so many lies. They lied when they remember when they went into the city? Yeah. They told so many lies. They could have chosen a better word. Yeah.
You see, in the back of their mind, they know that they're dishonest.
Yes. Why is it that people who are a certain way, the first word they can think of is the opposite of what they are?
And they were Hebrew, so there are certain things taught to them when they were young.
Oh my
I
goodness.
in Hebrew, because they're being taught from they were young. This stuff. So to be honest and
No, but remember, this is before so the Hebrew at this point, the establishment of what is now known as Hebrew is before this establishment. Because at this point, the Hebrew that is known as Hebrew was just a language. So there wasn't the Hebrew faith as we know it now. So they didn't have that type of rituals and teaching.
To ancient Hebrew, thinkers like Joseph, to be stripped of your robe was to be left naked.
Yeah.
So
But remember, is like Israel. Jacob is when Israel and the Jews. This is the beginning of them. And
That-
a lot, yeah, and a lot that came after came with Moses. Moses is not even on the scene yet. So this was, and this, I know we talked about this when we first started studying. When you're talking about the Jews and Israel, you're talking about from this point, the future from the here. Because you know what, that's the future. When you talk about Hebrew, there's now Hebrew was there before, yeah, the establishment before that. So when you hear Hebrew, Hebrew extends beyond just being Jewish. And so when people say that they're Hebrew, there were Hebrews that were around prior to even as a language. So they were amongst the Hebrews, but there were other people who spoke Hebrew from the region as well. But we could dissect that again. But it was very interesting. All right. So going back to that. Imagine you are Joseph. What might you feel upon hearing your brothers say, the youngest is now with your father, and one is no more?
Johnny,
Yeah, yeah, but what would you, knowing that you're listening to them saying that you don't, yeah, you're dead, yeah, or no more, or however they, what kind of things would go through your mind as you would describe as or whatever it is, whether it is non-existent, whether it's somewhere else, who knows when it is. That would be that would,
Sorry.
yeah. I just saw it on your face, and it would bring up some level of pain, you know. And so when he in later on when he goes into his into all of this, this is an emotional. I just, until we started going through this, I didn't understand how emotionally impactful a chapter this was. I'm like, this isn't just something that said, okay, he saw his brothers and then he had a fit and then he gave them food and then it was all right. This is some stuff.
family.
Yes. Yeah. Man. So we will stop here and we will pick up. We'll pick up from there as well next time. Like this shows you that, man, people in the Bible went through real stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. But some of what is going on
Some of the same stuff we go through today.
Yeah, for sure.